Making Moves, where we celebrate the moves that women are making. My name is Amy Pons, founder of Unlock the Magic, Coaching, Healing, and Marketing. I'm joined today with Charisse Pasche. Charisse Pasche is the COO and co-founder of Dapper Boi, a body and gender-inclusive apparel line that champions authenticity and confidence. With a background in sales and marketing, Charisse brings a purpose-driven mindset to the brand, ensuring its operational success and social impact. Co-founded in 2015 by her and her wife, Vicky Pasche, Dapper Boi's innovative approach has attracted attention from major national platforms, including, as of March 2025, Inc. Female Founders 500, Entrepreneur's Elevator Pitch, CBS Morning News, ABC's Shark Tank, and the Out 100 2023 list. Additionally, they were highlighted in the award-winning documentary Show Her the Money. Balancing her role as a mother of twin girls and a dynamic leader, Charisse is dedicated to creating a lasting legacy for her family and the brand. Charisse, welcome.
Those intros never get old. It's like, oh, wow. It's like a fun way to start the day. So thank you.
Oh, fabulous. So many guests say that, and I do. It's not like we hear our bios every day, and it's just kind of amazing when you hear it mirrored back to you. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
I'm a really amazing human. Of course you are,
Yeah.
I love being that hype woman for everybody.
You did a great job. Thank you so
Thanks.
much. You set the tone for our convo. So thank you.
You're welcome. Bios are so hard for me anymore. I'm like, which chapter of my life do we want to talk about? Because like you, I come from retail, Fortune 500 corporate brand marketing, for 20 years. And I
Yeah.
recently, 2 years ago, made the pivot. I say remember because I remembered why I came here specifically in this space and time, which is to usher in the balance with the divine feminine of creation and humanity that we haven't really seen in this lifetime. So it's always kind of difficult for me to write a bio anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. It's also, as you writing it, it's hard to, sometimes as women, we discount ourselves and don't want to celebrate our accomplishments. So, yes, thank you for putting all the good energy out there.
Amazing. Well, as an energy coach, that's like the best compliment I could ever get. Oh gosh. So where do you want to start with Dapper Boi?
It's been a journey. We are about to celebrate our 10 years coming
Mhm.
up, and 10 years has gone by so fast, and also sometimes it feels so slow. And then in the middle of that, we also had twin girls. So, it's very chaotic, but I don't think that I would have changed anything. It's a really fun ride that not only do our girls get to see us be entrepreneurs, but I also get to work hard for myself and my family. And Dapper Boi really represents, we always call it our third child. And we truly believe that we help people feel their most confident, authentic selves. It may just be clothes to some people, but everybody has that pair of jeans or that outfit that makes them feel like they're standing taller more confidently. And I can't even tell you how many messages I get from people every single day telling us how impactful our clothing is to them. So, through all of the hardships of being an entrepreneur and all of the tough decisions we've had to make, it's so worth it. And we love what we do.
Thank you for paying such attention to that. The reason I say that is because I have a dear friend, a former podcast guest, and a person near and dear to my heart who is creating a women's fashion line for women in construction
Mhm.
specifically
Yeah.
because what she found, and she was a lifelong construction worker herself and a fashion model. So she merged the two industries, which is
Wow.
fascinating. But
Mhm.
what she was always expressing is that on the job, like on a job site, construction site, she never had clothes to fit her. There's a lot of themes that she talks about, but two specific ones are like sizing charts are wonky. They're kind of a mishmash of which sizing chart globally. So we end up having a million sizes in our closet. Or in her case, she was finding that they would take the men's construction clothes and just simply put a women's label on it. And maybe I should link the two of you up at some point.
Yeah, that would be awesome. When we think about men's and women's clothing, the brand really started with my wife's journey. And so it's so funny because we started dating when I had this business idea, and that's how we started dating. And so fast forward, she actually pitched me I say pitch, but she actually pitched me Dapper Boi on our honeymoon. I had this like vision of we're gonna be married, living happily, probably locked into both of our careers for 10, 20 years and grow our 401k, but that did not happen at all. We threw all of that stability out of the window. Mind you, both of us had zero experience in the fashion industry, didn't even know where to get started. And my motto for our relationship has always been say yes and ask questions later, and it's served us well. So we just kind of sat side by side and started calling manufacturers, and we got hung up on right and left. And it took us several months to get linked up with the right manufacturer. And then we started a crowdfunding Kickstarter campaign, and we were off to the races. So it definitely hasn't been easy, but it's been such a really cool progressive journey. And on top of that, my wife is a plus sized woman. And so when she was shopping, when she first came out, she went into the men's department, and men are not shaped like women. So the jeans did not fit her curve. She had to buy them 2 or 3 sizes bigger. And as the years have gone on, we realized there's men with curves. We did this test before we went on Shark Tank, and we went into a department store and she tried on clothes and she was at the top of the men's sizing. So the clothes still didn't fit. They were ill-fitting. And her only other choice was to go to a big and tall store because if you're big, somehow you're also going to be tall. So the clothes went down to her knees and just, it was so ill-fitting. And we realized that there's actually men that love our clothing too, whether it's guys in CrossFit that have the big muscular thighs, or we have football players wearing our clothing, or just men that, our shirts, we have the extra button placket so you don't get the chest gap. Guys get that too, so that's been really cool. And again, bringing it back to department stores or just clothing lines, they're not size inclusive. So our shirts go extra, extra small all the way to 4XL. Like size inclusivity has always been in our ethos. And when we talk about our brand, it's not just for women, it's for men, women, non-binary, literally anybody that wants to feel confident in their clothing. I love wearing our jeans. It is a staple rotation in my wardrobe also.
I cannot find a pair of jeans, Charisse. I can't. So I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
my challenge is I'm heavy set in the front, but ooh, flat as a pancake on the back. So curvy, kind of. It's almost like I need like tailored pants.
No, I like wearing our jeans because every time I wear my wife is like, "Oh, your butt looks really good in those." And I've never felt comfortable about my backside. And the thing about women's jeans is they don't have pockets because we're expected to always wear purses. Our pockets are really, really deep. Our coin pocket even fits a large smartphone. So, we thought through those features. And again, like as we've been doing this, we're like, why isn't clothing functional? Why can't you look good, feel good, and make clothes functional? I can't even think of another word. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the pockets kind of blows my mind. I love the whole trend of like dresses having pockets and just I feel, and what I've learned from my friend is that it was all from a vanity perspective back in the
Mhm.
80s, 90s. Somebody decided that they needed to help women feel better about their true size. And in doing that, I don't know if they helped anybody. There was a lot more shame back then. It still exists also, but
Totally.
uh, I remember growing up in the 90s, like I really held on to this one pair of shorts from Abercrombie and Fitch that was a size 8, and I was never been an 8 in my life, and it was just like I wore those until polls and everything like that. But yeah, it's fascinating, and I love all that you're sharing, especially around size inclusivity, function and fit and features, and it's just phenomenal as we continue to move through this time and space where, to your point, every different body. And I love that you brought up that we expect men to fit into these boxes as well as it relates to size. And that's something that we don't really talk about that often. So that's really cool. So is there like a quote unquote men's or women? To your point about non-binary, can I just go in and just buy jeans? Like, does it have to be
Yes.
specific to,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
Yeah, I love what you pointed out about vanity sizing because it could be so frustrating. You could be an 8 here and then a 12 somewhere else. Our sizing is, I guess, what you would call traditional men's sizing. It's just based on your measurements. So you're always going to know what your sizing is going to be. It should be that consistent across all brands. But yes, when we work with influencers, I love working with couples. We'll have like a traditional male and female couple and showing how a husband and wife could be wearing the same pair of jeans, but it makes them feel so confident and just the different looks. I love it. We have so many different examples of that. And again, when I show up with my wife, people are like, "Oh, I love your jeans and I love your jeans. What are you wearing? What are you wearing?" It's like, no, we're both wearing Dapper Boy, which is pretty cool. Just so many really cool moments. When we were on CBS Mornings, I remember sitting there and even Gail King was like, floored. She's like, "Oh, those are Dapper Boy jeans. This is my size." And you can't ask for better PR than that.
That's incredible. Yeah, I want to tell my husband he's considered big and tall, but like he's in between larger regular sizes, I
Uh-huh.
guess, but like
Uh-huh.
on the lower end of like a
Mm,
big and tall. You're helping me empathize with like what he's had
yeah,
to face as well, because
right.
like it is just a challenge always with clothes.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get that. And sometimes for guys, it isn't like celebrated to look your best and feel your best or want to invest in good clothing pieces because guys are just expected to put on whatever and move about their day. But yeah, like really from men to women to even like I was saying, the customer stories that we get, we had a mother reach out and said, "My child was so severely depressed and even suicidal until they saw one of your ads." And when you hear a story like that, you really think about the impact that you have and your responsibility to keep a brand like ours going. There's been so many LGBT or queer-owned brands that have gone out of business because everyone thinks like, "Oh, that's only for that niche target audience." For us, my wife and I have always approached our Dapper Boy with, we are proud female founders. We are proud wives, but we're human at the end of the day, and that's how we can all relate. And we're here to show up for everybody. When we are on Shark Tank, a lot of people ask us, "Did you get a deal?" And we say no. They said no to us because they simply didn't get it. And we've been told no many times the 10 years that we've been on this journey. And we officially got into Nordstrom, which is huge. Like to have a huge retailer understand size inclusivity, body inclusivity. There's no gender here. It's just about clothes. And so that is exciting. That is a milestone that I will never forget, like bigger than Shark Tank moment, because this is going to make it accessible to everybody.
With all due respect to the Shark Tank crew,
Yeah.
I feel a lot of what we as humanity is feeling, and the big part of why I left corporate America to blaze my own trail and start my own business and to be on the forefront of helping people realize why things feel so pinchy.
Hmm.
We as a humanity are literally leveling up to break out of the copy paste. That's
Hmm.
what that's what we're meant to feel, is like that unique attunement to each
Hmm.
individual. And
Hmm.
because we're where we're at in the world, that sort of individual attunement in the past has not only not been welcome because it's
Hmm.
expensive to attune to individuals, and I used to have to do this back in corporate America. They're like, if it's not going to impact 80% of people, we're not doing it. And,
Hmm.
and these were like really amazing things that we should have been doing just for humanity in general, but because it didn't hit the masses. And I feel
Hmm.
like that's what we're starting to really unravel and come out on the other side of, is like, no, we wish to have that individual attunement. And how awesome is it that we're just simply starting with human first and then celebrating your unique intersectionalities
Right.
every single day and everything that you do. And how cool is it to feel excited and feel proud? There's clothing you put on that you just feel so good
Mhm.
inside. Like your solar plexus is just beaming. And that
Right.
makes a difference.
It really does. And one thing that I've always felt about Dapper Boy is it isn't just clothing, because when you look good, you feel good, and then you do good in the world. It really just starts with like how you're deciding every single day to show up in the world. You can show up every day and decide, I'm not going to take that extra 2 or 3 steps to make sure I feel my most confident self. And then how do you move throughout your day? Or you decide, hey, I'm going to do a little something different today, whether it's like a workout or I'm going to put on that favorite pair of jeans that just makes me feel my most confident self. It's like your little superhero cape. And I
Mm.
really truly feel like, how can you not have an amazing day if you don't feel good?
Right, right. Oh, we go for days on that. It's how you're able to show up. A lot of times with women specifically, we'll be like, oh, women just need permission.
Mhm,
It's not that I'm a big fan of an and. I get where a lot of people say that because you and I right now are creating a space where someone, a human, could feel like it's okay to feel thriving in their clothing, whereas they might not have felt that before. So I think there's a part of the community aspect when you get with people that want to amplify your
mhm,
unique brilliance.
mhm,
It does make it easier to kind of step
mhm,
into that deserving piece that we've
mhm.
maybe never necessarily gotten out in the world. So there's an element of permission, but not in a way that suggests that women already don't have permission. They can do whatever they
Right,
want, but it takes
right,
someone on your side sometimes to be like,
right,
you get to wear
yeah,
clothes that make you feel strong.
right,
Like,
right.
I don't think anybody's ever said that to me.
I love that we're talking about how clothes make you feel your best and most authentic self. And when I lean into authenticity, I also think about some of the hardships that Dapper Boy has had to go through and bringing it back to Shark Tank. For anybody that has watched it, it was such an interesting time in our lives because when we had gone on the show, on Show Her the Money, we had talked about this glaring percentage that only 2% of female founders receive venture capital funding. And when you are a small business trying to grow and scale and make your brand accessible to many, you have to grow. And in order to do that, you need capital. So, as we were trying to grow our company and with the pandemic and all the supply chain issues, we had gotten to a place where getting to Shark Tank, we only had $100 left in our bank account. We only had $100 left in our bank account. I mean, that was a scary time. Also, in the middle of taping, we were in the middle of selling our home in order to save our business. So it felt like this pinnacle of, oh my goodness, not only are we in a moment where we barely had any gas money to get there. We're on the biggest show for entrepreneurs, hoping that these sharks are going to say yes, and we're selling our home, but somehow the universe worked in our favor. Like, thank goodness we did not get that deal because they would have boxed us into, like you were saying, fitting into the masses. And it gave us the marketing, the exposure. And almost when you say our brand has been on Shark Tank, it brings that validity that you've made it. Because from what I've heard, it is harder to get on Shark Tank than it is to get into Harvard, which blows my mind, but we've reaped all the benefits of being on the show, but we've also been able to keep our voice and stay authentic and scale in our own way. Getting into Nordstrom is huge. And guess what? It felt like such a hard moment when my wife looked at me and said, I think we have to sell our home to save our business. We really, really got grounded in the mission of Dapper Boy. And we said, this is our third child. Like being a first generation Filipino American, buying a home is the American dream. And I get emotional every time I talk about it. And so selling our home, and another founder had said this to me, we're selling things, but we're not selling our dream. And so being able to do that, but also knowing after 10 years, we have the data to support it. Yes, we had a worldwide pandemic, but if we've been able to start our business and the resilience that it took to do that, this is just like another speed bump in the road. And we got through it and we continue to pave the way. And I think that there's a reason, again, that we needed to go through that because we live in a world where social media shows like the best 5 seconds of our lives or only the best entrepreneur stories. But if being an entrepreneur was that easy, everyone would do it. And for us, it's so important to tell the vulnerable, the ups, the downs, but also the exciting celebratory moments of Dapper Boy because it just means so much more to us and we get to share it with our Dapper Boy family and community and they're rooting us on. You know, this moment going into Nordstrom is not just for us, it really is for everyone that has believed in Dapper Boy since day one. So, what a moment. I mean, yes, we had that small moment and it felt so big, but wow, if we didn't have that moment, I wouldn't be here today talking with you. It needed to happen.
Yeah. And I can speak to this because this was me. Life always used to happen to me, not for me. Every single day I was meeting life with like, oh gosh, what's going to go wrong today? Not only did that cause a little suffering in my life, I was not able to meet the energy or the moment of life where it was trying to drive me. And I'm not here to say like toxic positivity, like, oh, everything happens for a reason. And if by any degree you can understand that certain things don't unfold, it's
Mhm.
absolutely in your best interest. If you can trust that by any
Yes.
degree, you can allow it to suck, right? As a human, it's like, oh, shucks, that didn't work out. Okay, feel your feels, but also if you can get to that point where it's like, oh, awesome. I can't wait
Hmm.
to see what's unfolding in lieu of this.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Hmm.
And it's hard to be in that moment, I'm sure, if you went back to that day and you didn't get a deal, it was like, oh, it doesn't feel good, but it's like also you trust and oh, look now. You got to deal with Nordstrom.
Yes.
Wow. I'm so, so happy for you. That's so exciting. That's a big one in and of itself. But what else?
Yeah.
What other moves are you excited to be making right now? And with Dapper Boy, tell us about the line, all the things.
What's interesting when you talk about like timing of everything, Shark Tank opened up so many doors simply being on the show. I cannot wait to see what doors are going to open because we got into Nordstrom. You know, 10 years ago, this was our second time applying for Shark Tank. So the first time we did it, I want to say like a year into the business. And I looked at that original audition video. At that point, we had a 4-bedroom townhouse and we had downsized to like a 1-bedroom, 600 square foot beach shack. And in our audition video, we were like, one day we will be in a major department store. And so thinking back and saying, like, oh my gosh, sometimes it doesn't feel like you've accomplished much, just like what, going back to the bio. But going back to 10 years ago, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am living my dream. 10 years ago, I wanted to have a family so badly, and now we have twin girls. And thank God I had twins because I don't know if I could do it twice. And being able to be in a department store and not working 10, 12, 14 hours a day for somebody else and doing it for myself with my wife to build our own family legacy and having our kids be able to see that and have customers from all over the world be able to share those. That's the dream that I had 10 years ago. I can't even imagine 10 years from now how I can be looking back and saying, oh my goodness, all the things that I've wanted to manifest for myself. I can't even put those into words because I can't dream bigger than this. I have no idea what is past this, and I don't want to set myself on limitations. Also, along that, I love what you were saying. It's not toxic positivity, but every time we go through a hard part, I'm a runner, and I whenever I run half marathons, it's like at the 11-mile mark where I feel like my legs are going to give out. But I don't realize that there's a corner that I'm gonna turn and I'll be able to like actually see the finish line. And that's where it's like miraculously I just start pushing myself, my pace starts picking up, and I always remind myself I'm about to hit that corner. I'm about to hit that corner. Just because I can't see the finish line doesn't mean that the end goal isn't there. And so for me, it is exciting to always keep pushing the goal further and further because if I limit myself with what the goal is, I want to be unstoppable for myself. I'm my own competition, not everybody else. We get to set what the limit is.
Yeah. And actually, there is no limit. That's the fun part.
Right.
You specifically called this in 10 years ago. That's how easy and how hard manifestation works. Like
Hmm.
you literally called this in.
Hmm.
That's amazing. I truly believe there is no limit. The ask for us as humans is to align internally with what does feel good with what doesn't feel good. And you get to choose. If something doesn't feel good, you get to choose something different. It's just allowing yourself and it'll keep coming up if you don't choose what's in alignment. but that's how you keep continuing to call in what is for your favorite self, whatever that means.
Yes.
It's always going to
Yeah.
change. To
Yes.
your point, like, is it true you couldn't dream of 10 years from now? Of course you can. Like, I encourage you to do that exercise. And it's not just like the physical stuff, like, okay,
Yeah.
where am I? What am I? Who am I? That it's how do I want to feel in 10 years? And that
Hmm.
could look different based
I
on
love that.
your family. Yeah, like how do you want to feel? And then you do everything over the next 10 years that aligns with that feeling. And suddenly you'll have another 10 years, like, look what I created 10 years ago at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And it's not necessarily like a tangible thing, it's more like a mindset thing. I love that. It's so interesting. Our twins are 7, and when we were really going through it, and we were like, okay, we can feel really bad for ourselves and just sit in this and feel terrible, or we can do what we call the dream drive. So every time we started to feel low, we would take a break from work, get the girls in the car, and we would drive around our dream neighborhood. And
Wow.
so even when it was super hard, we drove around our dream neighborhood, and like now we still talk to them. Do you guys know what manifest is? And so we say, okay, well, if this was our dream street and that was maybe one of our dream homes, what does your room look like? And it's like more than just this is our dream neighborhood, like really putting ourselves in there. What does your room look like? Okay. And then it became more than that. And we started to ask them, how are you going to feel when you walk into your room? So I love that you said that because I think that's what I'm excited about is I'm first generation Filipino. And so my parents put their hopes and dreams into me. And what that was for them is build your 401k, retire out of a company and stay there for 30, 40 years, even if you don't love clocking in every day and you don't love the work that you do. For them, that was a reality. And that's why we immigrated here. For us, we can create a new generation with our kids and show them this is what entrepreneurship looks like. This is what it means when you really strive towards your goals and your dreams. And I mean, my parents wanted me to be a lawyer and doctor. And now, of course, I want our girls to be entrepreneurs, but we're not setting that limit on them. One of our girls had said to us, well, I want to be a doctor, a teacher. I want to go to the moon. I want to be president. She named like 5 or 6 things. And I was like, okay, well, which one do you want the most? And somebody else looked at me and they said, well, why do you have to limit her? Like, she can be all things. And I was like, well, dang, okay, you're right. And it's just always about changing your perspective on things and growing good humans that are going to go and do good things and you just hope the best that they become good adults as well.
Yeah. I always say, like, I'm never going to be one thing ever again, and nor was I ever. I just thought I had to be. So that started to not feel good. And so I created this beautiful business where I unlock the magic in myself and others. I raise the vibration of humanity. That's what I quote
Yes,
unquote do. So it gets to be all of that. So, Charisse, how do you want to feel in 10 years?
I want to feel at peace, just content with what we have. I think that I'm in constantly like this hustle mode. I'm a Leo, my wife's a Leo, so we're always just very like, how can we level this up? But I'm very much in this place of like, that's just so American culture to always be striving for what the next thing is instead of being present in the moment and like being so appreciative of all of the fortunate things that are happening right now and just being very thankful. So I'm trying to be more grounded in that mindset.
Amazing. As an Aries, I get it.
Yeah.
I've been in business for 2 years and I still dabble in the marketing. That stuff comes easy to me, but mostly it's coaching and healing. And a lot of times, people will be like, you're in business for 2 years. How are you scaling this year? I'm like, who said I have to scale? And
Hey, yeah.
and the less I can be present for especially my one-to-one clients, that's not my ask. I'd like to be able to earn a living while I'm on the forefront of humanity and
Mhm.
contributing to my home. So it,
Mhm.
it all gets to be that, and it doesn't look like the 10-point kind of business plan we may have learned about in
Mhm.
school or the copy paste culture. So it gets to be what you feel and what you
Mhm.
want. And
Mhm.
I tell you what, you get exactly what you need when you're in alignment with how you want to feel.
Yep.
It gets to be easy. It
Yeah.
gets to be, it just gets to be. And a lot of times as humans, we want to over engineer everything, and that's not the ask. So I want to go to a post that you made recently. It really hit home with me. It's top 3 ways your customers have inspired you. So you talk about the power of representation, functionality that matters, and building a true community, which you've touched on a little bit in the hour so far, but I wanted to go a little bit further into this post specifically as you look back on the stories and the feedback from your customers. Representation, size, gender expression, identity, functionality beyond nice to haves that are actually inclusive to what we need as humans to make us feel good. And then a community, I love that you say this because I actually say it about my business too. I have a business and a movement, and you have Dapper Boi isn't just a brand, it's also a movement. So
Mhm.
tell me more about this post a little bit through these 3 points and how you're continuing the movement and what is that movement?
Yeah. So representation has always been so important to us, whether it's showing diversity in not just ethnicity, but in size and also age, the whole spectrum, right? And I think that's important because when you come to our website or you come to our social media, we want it to represent to a point. We want people to be able to see it and say, I see myself wearing these clothing. And I think that that's so important so that people don't feel boxed in. They don't see a size 0 model and they say, oh, that looks good on them, but it could never look good on me. We always want people to feel like Dapper Boi is a one-stop shop for everyone. And when I say community, we started 10 years ago before social media was huge. There was what, maybe like Facebook 10 years ago. And I think that marketing wise, we did such a good job of creating. And again, this was before viral was a thing, but it was just my wife and her friends. And none of them are a size 0, but they just made these humorous videos talking about the problems of clothes. My wife was like skipping along Target, tried on a shirt, and she was like laughing because the buttons were popping out. And she was just like, oh my gosh, and we laugh about it now watching these videos, but then we decided to create clothing that actually had functionality. We made our brand relatable, but also humorous to let people know it's not that serious. Like, it's clothes. We want you to feel good and, align with our brand and our brand messaging. But also, when I talk about community, I want to say like almost every day we get DMs from customers that are like, what would it take to be a model for Dapper Boi? And number one, the guts that it takes to DM a brand and ask them, if they could model, number one. And number two, it makes me feel good every time I get those messages because it does show that we have representation, that they feel that they would emulate the brand and be able to showcase it well. So every year we do something called a Dapper Boi model contest where we open it up to everyone and anyone. We just ask them like, why do you want to be the next Dapper Boi model? Last year's Dapper Boi model was incredible. She's very shy, very introverted, but she's like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to try my absolute best. I mean, she went out every single night during the 2-week period and just talked to anyone. Like she went to a line dancing club or something and went up to every single person there and asked, hey, I'm in a Dapper Boi model contest. Do you mind voting for me? She had bumped into somebody that had like, I don't know, 50,000 followers and got a bump up in the votes. But then after that, went to a Beyonce concert, created a poster with her picture and a QR code, and then also started airdropping everybody like the QR code also to vote for them. It was like, wow, number one, the creativity, and number two, like to really want to go that hard to be a Dapper Boi model. And so we had a whole transformation series. Like we took them to my wife's favorite barber, and then we like, what do you typically wear? Okay, let's see if we can level up those jeans. Now let's see if we can level up your shirt. How did it make you feel to just wear like what you were usually wearing, and how has Dapper Boi changed that? And it was such a cool, magical experience, like the whole day, spending the whole day with them. We even flew in a stylist influencer. And so they got the whole VIP treatment. And when I say we build community, that's what it's all about to us. Like we constantly encourage our customers to send us videos of them and how Dapper Boi makes them feel or like their special moments. Like we've had customers wear Dapper Boi on their wedding days. I mean, what an honor and other really important moments in their lives. So that's why it's important. It's like not necessarily about us telling our story. Sure, we tell it because it's important to show the growth of the brand, and us as entrepreneurs represent that. But it really is, we always bring it back to our customers.
So you're celebrating the 10-year anniversary this year, right?
Mhm.
What does the line look like today?
Oh, so
Everything.
yeah, we have jeans, we have button-ups, we have shirts, chinos. So we have a lot of like your essentials, I want to say, but we're going to start branching out into some really cool, fun things. Like one thing I'm really excited about is we're going to get into athletic wear, like workout clothes. And that's like another interesting thing. You know, for workout clothes, it might go up to, for men, maybe a 2XL. But if people want to work out to lose weight and be their most fit self, whatever that is for you, it goes beyond 2XL,
Yeah.
right? And so for us to be able to also offer size inclusive activewear, I think is going to be a game changer. Game changer. So that's going to be exciting. That's going to be coming up this year too.
Oh, wow. And you have kids' clothes.
Not
Oh,
yet,
yeah.
and that is going to be exciting. That's going to be really exciting as well.
So for right now, you would say it's essentials for adults.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I would say maybe even preteens can fit into it since we started a size 26, which is like, I guess in women's clothes, like a double zero. So
Oh,
we
wow.
have very small jeans and our tops start at extra, extra small. So yeah, we had a 10-year-old send in a picture wearing our hoodies and our shirts. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Charisse, as we start to wind down, we talked earlier about there's a very real paradigm shift happening in the world where we as a collective, humans like you and me and Dapper Boy, are saying like it's okay to feel excited about your own unique self, and it's not a bad thing to want something customized to you or like as close as you can get it. What would you say to the people that maybe get that, understand that, but also don't get that? What does that conversation look like? And then also, what would you say around the line between asking the world to attune to you and then being able to attune out back out to the world? So it was a lot. Okay, so first, like those who get it don't get it. We'll start there.
Yeah, I don't think that you can ever go wrong telling your most authentic story. And so we constantly have distractions or FOMO where we want what other people want, right? It's just social media and all things going on. But one thing that I've learned through our journey is it's okay to tell your vulnerable story because that's most authentic to you. It's not telling your vulnerable story, so it's like a woe is me. It's telling your vulnerable story because you never know who you're going to motivate. There's people that are going to feel stuck in their lives and think, I can't do that. But they have to be able to see people that are relatable, but also aspirational. And so I think telling your story is so important and just really sticking true to what feels authentic to you. I think as women, we feel like we have to say yes to everything, but it is okay to say no to things that don't align with you.
And in this place and time where it might feel like we're getting further and further away from unique brilliance, authentic self, having to fit or conform, what would you say to the folks that are feeling really pinched by that right now?
I love that you're asking this because it's put me in such a mental tailspin seeing like the influx of information. You know, sometimes you go on social media or you take a phone break to get away from it, but you can't escape it. So I think it's about protecting your peace. I've had to mute accounts that are informational and only consume that content when I'm in a good headspace for it and prepared for it mentally, instead of it just like the algorithm constantly feeding that to me, but also doing something for myself. So, well, number one, protecting my peace and curating the content that is going to make me feel good, or taking breaks from the overconsumption. I've also been really intentional about doing things that give me more mental clarity. Like I said, I just started really holding myself to making sure I make a gym date with myself 4 to 5 times a week, and it just helps me clear my mind. I've just got into running, and it's exciting to see the growth there, and that's also given me mental clarity. But it's also given me a moment where in the morning when I'm shuffling my kids off to school, I felt like, oh my goodness, I need to be back. I need to go to the gym extra early so that I can be back, pack lunches, get them breakfast, and do all the things. And I kind of realized I'm in a partnership. And so I have split morning responsibilities with my wife, and now she takes on the bulk of the morning getting ready with kids. And that's also protecting my peace. And that is helping me show up to be better throughout the day as well, because now I get that moment for myself. So it's okay to carve time for yourself and be a little bit selfish. So protect your peace, do something for yourself, and don't feel like you have to take on everything.
That's exactly it. Self-care has kind of become this like blah blah word out in the ether, but
Mhm.
everything outside of us can feel overwhelming, to say the least. You still get to choose what you're consuming.
Mhm.
And it's being very mindful about that. And that's part of self-care. What are you consuming on a thought level, a television level, social level, radio, whoever, radio. Does radio exist? But what are you consuming beyond food? Like it matters on all levels. And
Mhm.
at a cellular level, that's absorbing everything that you might not
Mhm.
even be aware of.
Mhm.
So being extremely intentional, you're absolutely right. Charisse, where can we find you and support your work?
So on Instagram, we're at Dapper Boi, and it's DAPPERBOI. Or my wife and I share our founder journey on Instagram as well. So it's Meet the Pashas on Instagram. And then on LinkedIn, I can be found under Charisse Pasche.
And what's the Dapper Boy website?
Dapperboy.com.
Closing remarks as we wrap up.
Thank you so much. I love how we really dove into it's so much deeper on a human level to feel connected. I love what you said about goals. How do you want to feel? We have to really be in tune with our emotions. That is so important. And I love that. Thank you.
Thank you, Charisse.